4 reasons why Joe Biden will not be president. The first reason is Joe Biden is running on a platform of taking us back to the Obama presidency. He frames this as a return to normalcy. Yeah, Democrats are definitely clamoring to vote for this.
Democrats, please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. Please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. Please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. I don't want to vote for Joe Biden.
As clever as this may sound, running a campaign premised on going back to the past is about as exciting as room temperature coffee. Also, every time Biden opens his mouth, the return to normalcy strategy just flies right out the window.
The case where we cannot let this, we've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health.
There's nothing normal about voting for a man in clear cognitive decline. The fuel for his campaign are clearly fumes from the Obama presidency. The fumes may get you to the nomination, but they won't get you to the White House. The second reason Biden won't be president. Biden was never forced during the primary to earn the nomination. Biden was blessed with opponents who would only criticize him up to a certain point. Kamala Harris and Julian Castro were the only two candidates to ever lay a finger on Joe Biden, and they would only go up to a certain point. Bernie, for his part, refused to hit Joe Biden on anything other than policy prescriptions. This made for a bland late primary and debates. Then, when the time came, all of his opponents stepped aside, leaving the old man untested for what will be the biggest political battle of his life. So far, Joe Biden's achievements are based on the actions of others and not of Biden, the candidate himself. The third reason, Joe Biden's failed to earn the endorsement of his former running mate, Barack Obama. Biden is such a non-factor in this race that his chances of winning largely depend on the actions of other candidates. There is nothing that Biden can do to help himself win in November. He will win or lose based solely on the actions of Donald Trump. This is not the position to be in as a candidate running for president of the United States. The fourth reason Biden will not be president of the United States is that he is likely being exploited. What kind of people would exploit a man like this? Before I go further, let me tell you a story. After former President Ronald Reagan was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, he wrote a letter to the American people. In the letter, he revealed he had Alzheimer's and that he would be spending his sunset years out of the limelight due to this. In a 1994 letter, Reagan revealed that he had the terrible diagnosis of Alzheimer's and that he would be riding off into the sunset. After this letter, Ronald Reagan experienced the typical cognitive decline associated with this disease, and his wife was very protective of him, keeping him out of the media and all other kinds of public appearances.
What have you learned about this disease?
That is probably the worst disease you can ever have.
Why?
Because you lose contact and you're not able to share. In our case, you're not able to share all those wonderful memories that we have, and we had a wonderful life.
Can you have a conversation that makes sense to you with the president?
Not now. No.
The letter itself, what were the circumstances in which he wrote the letter? Were you with him when he wrote it?
I was with him. We were in the library, and he was sitting at the table in the library, and he sat down and wrote it, and that was it.
First draft?
First draft. He crossed out one word there, or two. I think it's one or two words. I don't know what that was. But only Ronnie could write a letter like that.
She knew it was important for his legacy for him to go through this part of his life in complete privacy. In contrast, Jill Biden, Joe's wife, seems to have no problem letting these people exploit her husband. What kind of spouse would allow someone they love to be exploited in this manner? Now, this doesn't mean we should take it easy on old Joe. We don't know who's pulling the strings. So if anything, we should go extra hard against Joe Biden. Now, this has the possibility to be one of the most embarrassing defeats in modern history of a presidential candidate. But unfortunately, the powers that be think they can weekend at Bernie Biden all the way to the White House. I think Obama knows this is a bad idea. That's why he hasn't endorsed him. He knows what we all know and what's clear to see with Joe Biden.
It does amaze me that President Obama hasn't supported Sleepy Joe. It just hasn't happened. When's it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Why isn't it? He knows something that you don't know, that I think I know, but you don't know. So it'll be interesting.
Nobody would know more than the man that spent 8 years with the now candidate on the Democrat side. The bonus reason Biden can't win: China. Even on his best day, Biden's love and comments, positive comments of China, will come back to bite him, especially in this post-COVID era.
We're not trying to contain China. We're not trying to slow down Chinese growth. The growth of China is overwhelmingly in our interest.
I mean, compare Trump and Biden's comments over their lifetimes about China and anything else for this matter, you'll see a drastic contrast. The ads practically write themselves.
Ready to go?
This is a crisis.
This is no time for Donald Trump's record of hysterical xenophobia.
Biden's son inked a $1 billion deal with a subsidiary of the Bank of China.
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks.
Since the outbreak, the Communist Party has been mobilizing overseas organizations to buy local supplies and send them to China.
It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. What a beautiful history we wrote together. Banning all travel will not stop it.
The president is right. That travel restriction on China, as every public health official we've talked to said, bought the country time.
That was a very smart move right there.
Hysterical xenophobia. Jeremiah. Xenophobia. I complimented him on dealing with China. I'm not going nuts.
You can follow us at Red River TV on Facebook, 46 News on Facebook, or 46news.com. Please check out some of the awesome articles we've been writing and stay tuned for the next installment. Until next time, we'll see you.